Namaskar, Rakshak from the NFL Masala podcast here, where we talk about all the latest happenings in the NFL with a little bit of spice. Today we do have a quick Eagles version of this podcast. I think because Thursday night Eagles are facing the Giants on Amazon Prime, so this is the time for an early podcast. So let's get to it. But before that, we are going to be do one major Damakidar news that we want to break. Recap quickly on the Eagles and the Broncos and what happened that game, and then preview Eagles versus Giants for Thursday. But before we do that, I just want to say this really quickly and get this off my chest. I joined a special episode of the Peyton Nathan's podcast where I was with Pete and Helene. We were talking about the Eagles' loss to the Broncos and doing a bit of a preview. At the end, I said some unwanted things. I think it and it rubbed off the wrong way. And I do want to apologize to Pete and Helene and to those that were watching that episode. I do apologize, and I am terribly sorry for that. I did not mean it to. I do not mean these type of what I do not mean all of it, and I apologize straight up. But with that being said, let's get on to it. And we do have some breaking the Makidar news that we have to report. According to Adam Schefter, there has been a trade today between the Jacksonville. There were a couple of trades. The Bengals traded they traded a 5th-round pick to the Cleveland Browns, and the Cleveland Browns gave up a 6th-round pick and Joe Flacco, who is now probably going to, and Joe Flacco will replace Jake Browning, who was benched after a couple of terrible outings. And I think Flacco will remain the starter until Joe Burrow gets back to health. But another trade happened today. The Jaguars got cornerback Greg Newsome and the Jets' 2026 6th-round pick from the Browns. In exchange, the Browns got veteran corner Tyson Campbell and the Eagles' 2026 7th-round pick from the Jags, which would happen via Tank Bigsby or Fred Johnson. I think this is a very good move for the Jags because although Tyson Campbell has been very serviceable, Greg Newsome is a little bit more faster, and I think he's a better corner and a little bit more healthier, I would say. Definitely a good move for the Jags. Keep on improving that defense under Liam and that team under Liam Cohen, and let's see how far they can get. But with that being said, we got to talk about the loss. The Eagles lost to the Denver Broncos. Yes, they are no longer undefeated, but so are the Bills. We're both 4-1. And if I wanted to summarize it, the mistakes caught up to us. It caught up to us at the end. I thought this was going to be a smooth, easy game for the Eagles, and it didn't. It was a combination of offensive struggles when you have a big lead. What bothers me about this loss is that we've seen this inconsistency for up to 5 games. We're lucky to be 4-1. I mean, we played the Cowboys, we played the Chiefs, we played the Rams, we played the Bucks and the Broncos. I had us going 3-2. I had us losing to the Bucks because we always lose there, and somehow the Rams because this was their Super Bowl. The Rams or the Chiefs, but somehow we are 4-1, and I'm saying we're lucky to have that. But it was just horrible. It was a combination of undiscipline, of playing undisciplined football on both sides, offense and defense. A little bit of ref ball, which screwed the Eagles in a couple of different ways. Play calling. The offensive play calling was atrocious. And at the end, defense getting gassed and not making the right reads and simples. It was bad overall. This is a team effort. And we have to talk about this one by one. Unfortunately, we have to go with the offense. But hey, under Kevin Fatul, the passing game was good. I mean, Jalen Hurts, 23 for 38, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions, but the 6 sacks. Yes, I would not consider them sacks because he ran out of bounds. And it was a loss of yard, but they call it a sack anyway. But how much? I mean, you wanted to pass because of what AJ Brown said on Twitter, and you got the passing game, but it was inconsistent. I mean, Jalen Hurts didn't have an. Then after the Eagles went up 17-3, the Eagles, I don't think they even had a completion to begin with. They didn't even compete. They didn't even complete on a proper third down until the very last drive. This makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, what are we doing? It's I think you have to give credit to the Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph for making the proper adjustments, like bringing Talanoa Hufanga on a blitz at one thing, and then just rushing, then just disguising their blitzes. Nick Bonito 8, and Nick Bonito 8, Jonathan Cooper 8, everyone 8, and it was just very, very frustrating. Just after one drive, I mean, it's not only the details, but they say oh, it's all good, but the execution, it was so bad. I think, and there's a couple of parts in which Johnny Page of Eagles Pinpoll does a very good job at looking at the Eagles all 22. He said it took only 3 plays to get annoyed. The first third down of the game, everyone is covered, but the one receiver has a chance of coming open, which is Goddard, but he's jogging. What are we doing? It was, and then of course, when they actually had the running game starting, I mean, Saquon had 6 runs for 30 yards, but a lot better was when AJ Dillon was on the field. Why aren't we using AJ Dillon a lot more? And Saquon is banged up coming out this game against, and when Denver's going heavy front, stacking the line with 5 to 6 defenders, you just need just run an outside zone, and it worked out well. That's what Saquon Barkley did. Because if no matter what this Eagles offense, no matter what Josh Allen's trying to draw for a run game, when you're trying to run straight through, this Eagles offensive line is bad with inside runs because teams are expected to stack. Mekhi Becton is gone. Landon Dickerson is hurt. Cam Jurgens is hurt. Tyler Steen's a pass blocker, and Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson, they're iffy. But it's why, oh why are we trying to do the same damn thing? When you're having a successful outside run, the passing game works a little bit better. And as much as you want to try and throw the ball a lot more, this Eagles team is a run blitz. The Eagles team is is built to start the run. And Jalen Hurts, he is much. I mean, the only silver lining for Jalen Hurts, he's doing a lot better against the. And I mean, and then of course the game is going down. He was 8 for 9 against blitzes in the first half of the touchdown, but sometimes when he's throwing, and when they were using the RPO, it was so much easier, especially in the first touchdown drive when Jalen Hurts reads it off to Dallas Goedert. Easy. It was so quick, and we loved it. And of course, the shotgun run game, when you're trying to do that, it doesn't work. And plus, I didn't see a lot of QB runs with Jalen Hurts, unless the fact that he was trying to run away. But when they're trying to do that, defenders can crash really easily, and then you just go RPO. Why aren't we doing that a lot more? But the missed throws, it was egregious. And knowing how Denver's corners were going to go up against AJ Brown, especially Pat Surtain, you had the biggest mismatch with Devontae Smith. I felt that you could have targeted him a little bit more. Devontae Smith finished with 7 catches for 118 yards, more precise routes against man coverage, which is so good. But A.J. Brown, this guy, we have to talk about this. When he was in man coverage against Pat Surtain, he was very good. Five receptions for 43 yards. He beat him a couple of times, but it was very inconsistent. And the lazy route running by A.J. Brown, we got to talk about this, especially one play in the third quarter, which really, really irked me. I thought we should have put away the game from there. This was so after so this is 1st and 10 at the Philadelphia. So like this is the 2nd and 6, Philadelphia 32. Jalen Hurts. I think what happens. No, I think like it was a 3rd and 6. Philadelphia 32. Jalen Hurts. Oh no. I'm trying to find the play. I am trying to find the big. Okay, there it is. 1st and 15. Philadelphia 39. This is the 1, 2. The third drive of the third quarter of the second half. After a 5-yard penalty, false start. If you get to the penalties, Jalen Hurts has A.J. Brown on a wide open shot. A.J. Brown beats his man with a double move. And when Hurts throws a 70-yard bomb, I'm like, oh my God, if A.J. Brown catches it, game over. It's 3-24. But what does A.J. Brown do? He's slowing down on his route and he's unable to complete it. It's like it's supposed to be an overthrow. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why are we seeing lazy route running? And then the second half, and like this is during the time, like second half, Broncos are singing cover 3, cover 4. Another great stat from Johnny Page and Shane Hab. Make sure you check out their work on Bleeding Green Nation and Eagles Pin Pull. And apparently, when the Eagles are facing cover 3 or cover 4 in the second half, they just suck versus zone coverage. Like against man, Jalen Hurts EPA per dropback versus man, he's plus 0.35, which is 11th. Against zone, he's second to last at negative 0.4, which is 30th. It is no adjustments on the routes, no motion. Why? And half-ass execution. You just need to. All defense is going to do is just play zone and figure this shit out. Like, why the hell is it taking too long? If you're playing zone, there's some couple of open spots. Attack the middle of the field. Why aren't we doing that? And when I talked about like, and one really concept I really liked against the zone, when you're facing single high man, especially when Jalen Hurts throws that wheel route to Saquon Barkley, that was a beautiful route, and that was a touchdown. I loved it, but why the fuck can we not beat zone coverage? It's makes no sense. It was a big. I think this was like a mental error and all that. The concepts are so bland, and of course, the Jalen Hurts deep pass to Jahan Dotson, which I thought was a first down, but then apparently it was an incomplete. And I mean, like, if AJ Brown's not working, why the hell are we using? Why the hell are we targeting Jahan Dotson more? Why the hell are we not using John Mechie anymore? We traded for him, and hell, why isn't Tank Bigsby being used? You cannot put Tank Bigsby as a special teams player because he still does not know how to return kicks. It's bad. The run game is broken as hell, and Hurts had 0 designed runs. And why are you throwing under center like when you know you can't block well? It is stupid. And I want to talk about this. On the final, like one of the final drives, when the Broncos go up 18-17, Eagles are driving 3rd and 2. Jalen Hurts throws a beautiful deep pass to Devontae Smith to get the big 3rd down conversion, but an illegal shift because Jahan Dotson moved from the snap. Barkley did not reset. Like, why? We're getting flags on false starts. We're getting false start. We're getting flags on illegal formation. Poor spacing. Lack of effort. This offense is talented. Yet we cannot play against zone coverage. We can win against man. And this is all on Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni for being so fucking complacent. Why are we not showing any diversity? We are begging for this. Why isn't the run game being fixed? Stupid as hell. Absolutely stupid as hell. And do not get me started about the defense. Everyone, I mean, defense, it was just bad. They, out of 8 drives against Bo Nix and company, they held the Broncos to 8 punts. And then after that AJ Brown missed thing, it took them 3 drives to get back to score 18 unanswered points. And how did they do it? They continued by feeding the ball to the running backs, J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. And I mean, they got worn out. They were on the field for 7. The Eagles defense was on the field for 70 plays. They were giving up 36 rushing yards on 10 carries in the first half, but 94 yards on 19 carries after halftime. This is all Sean Payton. Give credit where credit is due. And it could be like, and we're seeing more snaps from like Mara Ojomo, Jordan Davis, and Jalex Hunt, but the thing is, like, when you're building the run game, the defense gets tired and they are gassing out. And when you're having 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 out, there's so much that the defense can do. And the Broncos literally doubled the Eagles' time of possession in the second half. And conditioning was bad. That's why they couldn't tackle. Jalen Carter's been up and down. He's struggling with an injury. He's not the same. And I mean, Cooper DeJean being used as a blitzer, I thought he was like okay, but I mean, Keely Ringo, up and down game against like Troy Franklin, and he didn't need to provide that much cushion, and he does have to make up speed, but just the way that his hips are opening up too early, that's allowing the receivers to come on free breaks on comebacks. I mean, it was just bad. And I know, and Ty Robinson, I didn't even see him get used a lot. Byron Young was bad. I mean, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Mara Ojomo playing all 60 snaps. It is bad. And they need a good veteran defensive tackle. Maybe someone like a Neville Gallimore, Raekwon Davis, or even hell, Christian Wilkins. And it's just, I think like it's just a conditioning. And you have to give, again, credit where credit's due. Sean Payton coached a very good game. Like, knowing that Vic Fangio will like to run like almost like more zone concept is like Zach Bond and they're getting plays from like Zach Bond, Andrew Makuba, who had a good tackle, but then again Zach Bond with that late hit. I mean, come on, but just. And I think like with Keely Ringo, it has to be a game by game. Quinyon Mitchell, not a good game from him. I mean, he was going up against Cortland Sutton on the go up and get it reps at the late. I mean, Sutton played extremely well. Jahad Campbell, I thought he was alone. Great run defender. He's growing up and downhill, but he's making good tackles and it's starting to click in again. It's like, I just wish, and the fact that the Eagles the Eagles depth rushing, like Zadarius Smith was able to get there. Josh Uche, Josh Uche. I think we really missed Nolan Smith on this one. And then Azeez Ojulari, an active snap. I mean, he had a good, incredible pass rush, and he contributed a lot. And I think like if they could have added, I think the Eagles need another defensive tackle for that depth. And I mean, and I think like when they tried to blitz a little bit more, it's just, I think it was too late. Bo Nix was able to escape out of the pocket, but it was just bad. Just bad. And Keely Ringo gave up on that true down. I think like, and I think like the variety of run plays and the play designs, no pass rush, like no inside pressure, and Jalen Carter being hurt. It was just bad, bad overall. But we have to talk about. But I mean, like, you could just go through each player, like each play on why it was just why this team played overall badly. But we have to. Can we talk about the penalties? It was just bad. And I said this before multiple times. You cannot win games if you are losing in 3 categories: turnovers, sacks, and penalties. Eagles were 9 for 55. The Broncos had 12 for 121. But the 9 for 55, those could be like some calls that the referees didn't pick up, or they should not have called on that. But still, you cannot leave the game in the hands of the refs, especially the final drive. Like, why the hell? Like, for example, the Eagles got the ball at 106 left in the half with 26 at the 26-yard line. They drove all the way to Denver 29 with that deep pass to Dallas Goedert. When they drove it to 29, Hurts throws the ball to Dallas Goedert. The Denver safety Skinner was clearly passing interference, but the refs didn't call the flag on it. No call, and they had to go for a Hail Mary, and it didn't work. And the intentional grounding. There was a play at the Broncos 29-yard line. Denver would have faced a 3rd and 24. Like, Bo Nix was wrapped up by Jackson, and he kind of threw the ball away at the ground. But I thought, like, hey, that's intentional grounding. And Adam Troutman was somehow in the area, who's a linebacker, and it somehow stayed as a 3rd and 6 instead of a 3rd and 24. And it was not reviewable was whether the receiver was on the area of the pass. It was stupid. And the ref's explanation was pure bullshit. Even if there was ref ball, why the hell are we giving away close games like this? Why the hell can't our offense play a full 24, a full 4-quarter game? Why can't they not do that? You have so much fucking talent in the world. It just frustrates me. But luckily, this is a short week because for now, we have to have a get right kind of game. This game is an NFC East game, and we're facing against the New York Giants, who are coming off of a 26-14 loss to the New Orleans Saints with some very uncharacteristic events like turnovers and whatnot. And I will say Jackson Dart is good, along with Cam Scatabo and adding a Tyron Tracy, Theo Johnson, Daniel Bellinger. But it was just, this has to be a get right game. But I don't even know if we're gonna handle it right. I just don't know. And with that being said, let's get at it. A couple of things that we need to watch out for. If we're going to go Eagles offense versus the Giants defense, this is a Giants defense that has great, excellent pass rushers. That defensive line is good. You look at the guys like Brian Burns, Sexy Dexy, a.k.a. Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, and Brian Burns. They are very, very good. And the Eagles are entering without Landon Dickerson because he's going to be out after being injured all over. That means you're going to have Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson on islands against Burns, Thibodeau, and Carter. But the interior is going to be well tested. And I don't know Yeah, and I think like this is going to be a very good pass rushing defensive line. This is going to be another challenge. But there's a thing that can beat the Giants. Their run defense is bad. They're giving up 140 yards allowed, which is ranked 26. I don't know. I think this would be a get right game for Saquon Barkley. You cannot go inside runs. You have to attack the outside. Outside zone rushes like how you did. And if the Giants are sitting at zone, you have to attack the middle of the field. You have to find a way to go. And from what I'm hearing from Kevin Patullo, he's going to go RPOs. I don't even know if that's the case because this has to be Kevin Patullo. If he really wants to stay, he has to coach he has to call a hell of a game. Otherwise, you give it to Scott Leffler, the quarterback's coach, who's very experienced in Bowling Green, Temple, and what else? I think the only one that they got, like the only good run defender that the Giants have is Roy Robertson Harris, 32 in July, 2-year deal worth $10 million. He logged in 20 tackles, 2 sacks in 2024, defensive line, but he doesn't have that much that. But I honestly think with Saquon's little injury, which he's reported as questionable, I'd say you have to diversify, keep him in a snap count, and you have to put more on for AJ Dillon and Will Shipley, and also try and use Tank Bigsby a little bit more. Hell, why the fuck did we trade for him then? And also, and if I wanted to be another thing, like the Giants' skill position players, especially on defense, like they're not that good. Their linebackers are average. They're like let me pull up the Giants' depth chart. Other than their defensive line, which can bring up some parts, I mean Tyler Newman, Paulson Adebo, Javon Holland, Cordell Flott, Drew Phillips, they're all right, but not that good. And their linebackers, Bobby Okereke, Darius Musau, and what else is going to be out? Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, which is going to be a big loss. Micah McFadden, who's a good, decent pass rush, decent linebacker, he's on IR. So he's Boozman out. So you're going to be depending upon like. So I think they could be playing a combination of zone and man as expected. So I'd say you have to dump it off to AJ and Devontae early. You have to attack the middle of the field. Dallas Goedert is your best weapon. Like, as much as we want to get to the run game, spread offense, spread shotgun, outside zone rushes. Make them work. Make them go sideline to sideline. Saquon Barkley's good when he's attacking the out. And just keep it simple, stupid. That's all we ask for. And you cannot go heavy personnel. Stick to 11. And if you need to go, I mean, if you need to bring up the ill-fated wide receiver bubble screen, so fucking be it. We need slants, crossers, mesh, attack the middle of the field. We need to have zone beaters. If you do not have zone beater routes, this offense is screwed, and Jalen Hurts will have to carry the team all over again. And I just don't know. Eagles defense against the Giants offense. The Giants, unfortunately, they do not have Malik Neighbors, so because of that turf in MetLife, which is why I'm also concerned. But Jackson Dart is expected to start, and they also have Tyron Tracy, Cam Scatterville, and Devin Singletary. So they could go a little bit more heavy personnel, heavy mixed personnel with more 12 and 13 personnel, especially with Malik Neighbors being on IR. So I think you're going to be seeing a lot of Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, and they probably go 2 tight ends. That's a lot with Theo Johnson and Daniel Bellinger. Theo Johnson and Bellinger, they're very good run blocking. And for a guy like Scatterville, who has been very electrifying. I mean, as of now, 63 carries for 240 yards, averaging 3.8 yards per game. But he's been, I think, like, but also he's a good receiving threat. 18 receptions for 143 yards. But they do have a turnover issue. You watch the game against the You watch a game against the Saints. There were some areas that you could target. It's the turnovers. Um, and I think and I think on how to turn the ball over, 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions, 1 red zone giveaway by Scadabo. It came at precision points, especially with now Wan'Dale Robinson being their number 1 wide receiver. Dart can throw the ball, but the situational awareness, and he's blitzed, he has no clue where the hot route is. And he just gets hit instead of dumping it off. And now with Nakobe Dean being activated, I think you could see points where you had Jahad Campbell and Dean, then you bring in Jahad Campbell as a blitzing linebacker going on edge, and you can try and convert him into a defensive end. I think it was recommended by Pete and Helene on yesterday's podcast, on yesterday's segment. And I think you try and put in simulated pressures and try and use in a lot of stunts. You can see a lot more Ty Robinson in this game, because I don't know if Jalen Carter is going to be super healthy. I'd rather rest him up. And also, I could also see the fact that you could see more increased snaps for Davis, Ojimo, and Ty Robinson, maybe even more for Byron Young. But I think the Giants, I mean, Jackson Dart is very good, but if Fangio can bring in some disguised looks, it's good. The Giants have surrendered 14 sacks. That is a thing, and it's with Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart, when he's pressured, he has 2.9 yards per attempt under pressure, and 6.1 when he's kept clean. So maybe you try and go 4-man, 5-man rushes, simulate the pressures, but they rank 12 in rushing yards and 13 in rushing touchdowns. They are good in the ground game. They go zone heavy, inside zone and outside zone. They're most frequently called. Eagles need to find a way to do that. And now with Dean being there, I think they will have a lot more ability to stop the zone and stop any zone rushes. But inside, I'm not 100% sure, because they have two good blocking tight ends. And I think and Scadabo is not easy to bring down, and you have to maintain rush lane integrity. And Jackson Dart's best weapons is his legs. I mean, and I think if Carter, Davis, and Ojimo can stop the interior line early, the edge rushers, they're able to maintain. And hell, I want Azeez Ojulari to start more and attack. I think they can limit this run game. And now with Malik Neighbors being out, you're just gonna be seeing a lot more zone runs, QB draws, shovel passes, and some desperate trick plays. The best chance for the Eagles: put Dart in the pocket, have a QB zone, have a QB spy, someone like a Bond, or hell, even get Dean on this one, and have Bond as a blitzer. And I think you still, and for a speedster like Jalen Hyde, I still think you put Keely Ringo on him. You put Ringo for one more game, and then you say okay, we tried everything. Wan'Dale Robinson, Quinyon Mitchell, easy. The other one Gunnar Rashevsky, who can probably be a slot. Cooper DeJean, or you could try to put Cooper DeJean on slot, on outside, and you try and bring someone like a Mac McWilliams in as a corner, as inside. But I think the safeties and Reed Blankenship and Andrew Makuba can handle it, but I don't know. This game has another sense of a trap game, but I think the Eagles can win this game. They have to win this game. They have to play a full and limiting the turnover. I mean, limiting the penalties. If they can play a clean game, not be too penalized except for ref ball, and while playing ahead and playing to win the game, they can do that. That's all she wrote. And with that, I have the Eagles winning 27-17, because shit can happen. I still don't trust this offense, although I do trust Jalen Hurts more. Well, with that being said, this concludes Season 4, Episode 18 of NFL Masala. If you like this podcast, please make sure to follow our check out the podcast on our following platforms. That is Spotify, Apple, Pocket Cast, and YouTube. So for YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. You can, if you have any questions, make sure you contact us at our Gmail, which is at nflmasala@gmail.com. That is at nflmasala2022. Yeah, nflmasala@gmail.com. And we're also on social media, Twitter/X, Instagram, and Threads at which is at the, all under username at NFL Masala 2022. That is at NFL Masala 2022. That being said, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully the Eagles can get a win. Now I'm gonna end it this way. We all we got. We all we need. Fly Eagles fly.